Right, imagine this. You are the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. You have got the weight of the nation on your shoulders. You are dealing with economic crises, political rebellions, and approval ratings that are circling the drain faster than water in a broken sink. You walk into the House of Commons thinking maybe today will be different. Maybe today you will get through Prime Minister's questions without being completely humiliated. And then Lee Anderson stands up. Now, for those unfamiliar, Lee Anderson is not your typical politician. He is a former Labour member who switched to the Conservatives and then to Reform UK. He speaks his mind with all the subtlety of a sledgehammer, and he has absolutely zero time for what he considers Westminster nonsense. And on this particular day, he looked directly at Keir Starmer and delivered a three-word insult so devastating, so perfectly calibrated, so utterly humiliating that you could actually see Starmer's soul leave his body in real time. I am talking about a verbal assassination that will be replayed in political highlight reels for years to come. If you want to catch every single moment of political carnage like this, every devastating put-down, every time our politicians get absolutely destroyed on the floor of Parliament, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications right now. Trust me, you do not want to miss these moments. So, let us set the scene properly, because context is absolutely everything when you are witnessing political destruction of this magnitude. Prime Minister's questions, that weekly gladiatorial contest where reputations go to die and soundbites are born. Starmer is at the dispatch box, probably feeling reasonably confident because he has survived worse days, or so he thinks. The chamber is packed, MPs are restless, and there's that electric atmosphere you get when everyone senses blood in the water. Lee Anderson catches the speaker's eye, gets called to ask his question, and you can immediately tell from his body language that he is not here to play nice. This man has got something to say, and he is going to say it in the most Lee Anderson way possible. Now, before we get to the actual insult, we need to understand why Lee Anderson's words carry such weight. This is not some career politician who has spent decades learning how to speak in careful, measured tones that offend nobody and say nothing. Anderson is different. He is blunt. He is direct. He represents a constituency that feels forgotten by Westminster elites, and he has built his entire political brand on being the voice of ordinary working people who are sick and tired of being patronized by politicians who have never lived in the real world. When Anderson speaks, he is not trying to sound clever or impress his colleagues. He is speaking the language of the pub, the factory floor, the street corner. And that authenticity, that refusal to play the Westminster game, is precisely why his words land with such devastating force. So Anderson stands up, and he starts by outlining the problems facing the country, the cost of living crisis that has families choosing between heating and eating, the immigration system that seems completely broken regardless of which party is in power, the NHS waiting lists that keep getting longer while politicians keep making the same empty promises, the sense that Britain is being run by people who are completely out of touch with the concerns of ordinary citizens. He is building up to something, you can feel it. The tension is mounting like a pressure cooker about to explode. And then, after laying out this litany of failures, after painting a picture of governmental incompetence that nobody in the chamber can really dispute, he looks directly at Starmer and delivers the knockout blow. 3 words, just 3 perfectly chosen words that cut through all the political rhetoric, all the spin, all the carefully crafted talking points, and expose a fundamental truth that everyone has been thinking, but nobody has quite articulated so brutally. The exact words are devastating in their simplicity, brutal in their accuracy, and absolutely humiliating in their delivery. Anderson does not shout them, he does not rant, he just states them with the kind of cold certainty that makes them hit even harder. It's like watching a sniper take a shot, calm and precise and absolutely lethal. The reaction in the chamber is immediate and electric. The Reform UK benches erupt in cheers and laughter.
The Conservative benches, despite technically being on the opposite side, can't quite hide their amusement because watching Starmer get destroyed never gets old for them. Even some Labour MPs look uncomfortable, shifting in their seats, because deep down they know Anderson has hit the nail squarely on the head. And Starmer? Oh, Starmer's face is an absolute picture. You can see him trying to maintain his composure, trying to look unbothered, trying to formulate a response that will salvage some dignity from this situation. But it's too late. The damage is done, and everyone knows it. What makes this insult so particularly effective is that it's not complicated. It's not some obscure reference that requires a degree in political science to understand. It's 3 words that anyone can grasp, that perfectly encapsulate a widespread public perception about Starmer, that crystallize months or even years of frustration into a single devastating phrase. It's the political equivalent of a perfect punch, simple but absolutely devastating in its execution. No fancy footwork, no elaborate setup, just a direct hit that leaves the target reeling. Now, Starmer tries to respond, bless him, because that's what prime ministers have to do when they get insulted in Parliament. They can't just stand there looking wounded. They have to fight back. They have to defend themselves. They have to try to regain the narrative. But here's the problem. When you've just been hit with an insult that accurate and that public, any response you give is going to sound defensive and weak. Starmer launches into what can only be described as a word salad of deflection, talking about everything except the actual point Anderson made. He brings up Conservative failures. He references Labour achievements. He throws out statistics that may or may not be relevant. It's the political equivalent of throwing everything at the wall and hoping something sticks. Spoiler alert, nothing sticks. What Anderson has done here, whether intentionally or instinctively, is tap into something that resonates far beyond the walls of Parliament. Out in the real world, millions of people are watching politicians make promises they never keep, implement policies that make life harder rather than easier, and generally behave like they inhabit a completely different reality from everyone else. Anderson's 3-word insult speaks directly to that frustration, that sense of disconnect, that feeling that the people running the country simply don't get it. And when a politician manages to articulate what ordinary people are thinking in such a direct and memorable way, it becomes more than just an insult. It becomes a rallying cry. The media absolutely runs wild with this, as you might imagine. Within hours, the clip is everywhere, on every news channel, on every political podcast, all over social media. People are sharing it, discussing it, adding their own commentary. Some are defending Starmer, arguing that the insult was unfair or beneath the dignity of Parliament. But far more people are sharing it with variations of, "He's not wrong though," or "Finally someone said it," or "Absolutely brutal but absolutely true." The clip goes viral in that particular way that only truly devastating political moments do, where even people who normally don't pay attention to politics are watching and sharing and commenting. The 3 words become a meme, of course, because this is the 21st century and everything becomes a meme eventually. People start using them in other contexts, applying them to other situations, turning them into a cultural reference point that extends far beyond this one parliamentary exchange. T-shirts get printed, social media graphics get created. The phrase enters the political lexicon in that way that only the most memorable insults do. Years from now, when people talk about the Starmer premiership, this moment will be one of the defining images, one of the moments that captured something essential about his time in office and why it ultimately failed. But let's dig deeper into why this insult works so effectively, because there's actually something quite sophisticated happening here beneath the surface simplicity. The 3 words don't just insult Starmer personally, they articulate a broader critique of his entire political approach. They suggest a fundamental disconnect between what he claims to represent and what he actually delivers. They imply a kind of emptiness at the core of his leadership, a sense that beneath all the rhetoric and all the carefully managed image, there is not actually much substance there. It's a devastating critique packaged in the most accessible possible format. Anderson's delivery is crucial to the impact as well. He doesn't sound angry or unhinged. He doesn't sound like he's throwing a tantrum or losing control. He sounds calm, matter-of-fact, like he is simply stating an obvious truth that everyone can see. This makes the insult even more damaging because it comes not as a personal attack driven by emotion, but as a calm assessment of reality. When someone insults you while shouting, you can dismiss them as being unreasonable. When someone insults you while sounding completely calm and rational, that hits differently. The timing of this insult couldn't have been better either, landing at a moment when Starmer is already vulnerable, already facing questions about his leadership, already struggling with low approval ratings and rebellious backbenchers. It's like kicking someone when they're down, except in politics that's not just acceptable, it's practically mandatory. Anderson didn't create Starmer's problems, but he has certainly crystallized them into 3 words that